What's up, folks? Welcome back to another edition of Charm City Heavyweights Podcast, brought to you by Grade 8 Sports Memorabilia, Parkville, Maryland. I'm the host, Matt Trigger. With me is my co-host, Josh Merrill. What's going on, buddy?
What's up, Matt? Coming live from the man cave. The Orioles just closed it out. Battle with the Beltways. Game one goes to us.
That's always a good thing, man. We're playing some good baseball right now. We're going to be talking some Orioles. You know, we always got to talk about our enigmatic quarterback, Lamar Jackson. We'll get to him a little bit later on.
There's rumors that he turned down the deal again today.
Yep, there's rumors of that. So we will get to
He wants
all
back
that a
pay.
little bit.
Back pay is the rumor.
That's the rumor right now, at least, is that he wants back pay.
I wish that's how real life worked. Like, you should have gave me a raise 5 years ago, so I want.
So he wants his money that he should have got after the Josh Allen deal that we offered him, but you know that we're neither here nor there.
We're here and there.
So let's get right down to it, man. We before we get started with the Orioles and the Ravens talk on Thursday night at 8 p.m. We're gonna have Bruce Cunningham from 105.7 The Fan, former
voice of the Ravens,
the stadium voice of the Ravens. And he was on local news for the sports coverage for years. He had just recently retired. He will be joining the show on Thursday at 8 p.m. And then next Tuesday at 9 p.m., we have former Orioles shortstop, Orioles Hall of Famer Mike Bordick will be joining the show.
I'm excited for that, man. Bordy.
Bordy will be joining the show next week. Thank you to Tim Barbalace for helping get that, started. We're looking forward to that.
Yeah, thank you, Tim. He's a good dude.
Absolutely is. So let's get into the Orioles coverage, man. These boys have no quit.
Their offense is explosive, man. If the pitching could just be like a little bit like it was tonight, they threw a shutout anywhere close to what they were tonight. I'm not saying they got to throw a shutout every game, but this offense is explosive. It's like it takes them a few innings to, get used to the pitcher, but it's like on that second, third rotation around the lineup, man, they go nuts and just start blasting the ball. Adley Rutschman is out of this world. He is just a monster. Mateo now, like Mateo's a Gold Glove shortstop, right? He is. So what was his only big missing piece was his bat. If this dude hits like this, man, he's a superstar. I mean, he's a guaranteed stolen base. He's stealing third. I've never seen a player steal third as much as he does. The last 2 games, I think he has a stolen base to third, which is insane. And it's like not even close. He's a superstar. It makes you wonder, the direction we can go. We got Holiday down in the minors, so what do you do with him? Unfortunately, I don't think he's part of the long-term, plans, but I wish him all the best, man. He's a hell of a player.
Jury's out on that, though.
Well,
you can find
took the number 1 overall pick.
You can no, Matt, I'm not talking about.
He may not want to not be a shortstop, bro. He likes playing shortstop. What if you don't want to play right field?
I'm sure he does. I mean, we can move him anywhere on the field, and I think he would be a Gold Glover. And if he's going to hit if he hits all year the way he's hitting now, you can't get rid of him just yet, or you sell him high for a king's ransom in the offseason.
Yeah, he is smoking ball. I know there's one person ahead of him, but the way he's hitting the ball, man, I've never seen anything like it.
It's fun to watch, man. This is a really fun ball team right now, and the youthfulness and the energetic feeling that these guys are giving the city, and they're putting a good product on the field.
They are, and it's nice to see guys like Mullins getting going, Santander's starting to get hot. Mountcastle started heating up. Adley and Mateo, like we were just saying, they've been on fire since opening day. They haven't. I think this is the first bad game I've seen Adley have at the plate. He was 0 for 4. This is. I've been waiting for this for so long. This is exciting, man. It's been waiting so long. Most of my
And
life, I've been waiting for this. We got a little bit of teasers, them few good years with Buck and in the playoffs, and but man, you knew that wasn't going to last back then because there was nothing to back it up. We really didn't have a farm system. We had a couple top pitching prospects that never really panned out. Well, didn't pan out here. They move on to pan out like Jake Arrieta and Mattis. Um, so this is the
Gosman,
first time Gosman. This is the first time it feels real, because there's so many more good players that are still down in the minors that we want to see, and it's like we're going to get successful, and this is going to sustain. Like as long as we keep drafting and moving like we do, we should be like the Rays. You know what I mean? Should be good
I,
every year with the lowest payroll in baseball because you just keep flooding it with talent in the minors.
I'm happy that Dean Kramer had a good outing tonight because I feel like he was on
Had a hell of a game.
I feel like he was on the cusp of either getting relegated to the bullpen or possibly being optioned.
I don't think he
And
has an option.
I'm not sure, but
I
I
don't think he
mean,
has an option. Somebody, if anybody's watching, somebody comment. I don't think he has an option.
I'm not sure if he does or not, but he definitely saved his spot in the rotation at least for the time being with his performance tonight.
Oh yeah, he shot it down.
And speaking of pitching, Grayson Rodriguez, if he can just get over the yipsies in the first inning, the dude is going to be
Yeah, he
dynamite.
settles. Yeah, he settles down. It's just nerves right now. I mean, he's a young kid out there playing on a major league field, against big leaguers. So he settles in, man. Once he settles in, he's legit.
He really is.
And that's the thing, man. Like things are working. Like I know Gunner's kind of had a slow start at behind the plate, but like you can see this talent. Like Hayes, which Hayes is. Hey, we should both be reprimanded for forgetting Hayes because he's been smoking the ball too. Even his outs, he's hitting hard.
I might be eating my words with Hayes because before the season started when we were doing our preview shows,
I gave up on him.
I was totally convinced that he was going to be the fourth outfielder, but not only is he the everyday left fielder, he is hitting the cover off the ball.
He's knocking it.
He's a spark in the lineup, and he makes up for the guys like Gunner, like you were just talking about. Gunner's batting 170.
Yeah, Gunner's not had a good. His confidence behind the plate is gone right now. I wanted to bring that up and talk about it. He does not seem confident behind the plate. He's striking out, looking a lot. Like he's scared to swing.
He's walking a lot too.
He is walking a lot. He is, and he's not swinging
walks.
now.
Did he walk?
But Brandon Hyde even said yes, and Brandon Hyde even said,
now.
He's like, he's not swinging the bat. He's striking out a lot looking, which it's just weird. He just needs to have a few good games, maybe get a couple dingers over the ringer, get his confidence back, and get going. He is going to be what he's going to be, man. He's going to be a superstar. He's young.
Do you think that his problem might be a mix of not being in the field every day, coupled with the fact
that makes it harder? I mean, you can't get in the rhythm.
I think that, and coupled it with the fact that a lot of outlets have him as the number one prospect in baseball, and he was a front runner for Rookie of the Year in the American League this year, and I think the pressure just is kind of getting to him at this point in time.
It is. His confidence is gone. And look, Matt, no offense, you were more of a playing wise a football guy. I was more, baseball was kind of everything. And baseball is all about rhythm, man. Baseball is a hard sport. Like in football, right? You build up all week to that momentum and that adrenaline, and boom on Sunday, and then Monday morning it's dead, and then throughout the week you got to slowly build it back up. Baseball, you kind of got to find your little niche because it's so many games. You got to find your little niche of momentum, and it's hard, man. It's hard because baseball is a game, where you're going to fail most of the time. If a guy gets 4 hits out of every 11 at bats, that guy's a good player. So you're going to fail. Even the best fail most of the time. So it's hard when you're not out there and you're not playing every day. That's why I understand what you said in your argument, and I don't even want to open that can of worms back up. But he is the future, I believe. I don't believe the front office or Mike Elias has lost any faith in him or anything like that. I think that'd be just silly to say. He needs to be out there. He's the future third baseman. This team, even though they're winning and they're fun to watch, this is still not the year they plan on, going into playoffs. So we're still looking towards the future. So I know people don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. So let him play. Let him find his rhythm. Let's see what he can do. Tired of hearing about how good he is. I want to see it on the field, and I want to see him have a chance every day.
I hear you, but I think with the way they're playing right now, they're going to go with Urias at third base until the wheels fall off there, and that's not going to be a very long process.
Yeah. But Matt, you got to understand this team. If we get a wild card, we're not built to win in the playoffs, man. That's why they didn't put money into the team yet. That's why we didn't sign anybody. They're not built to go anywhere. So I mean, it would be cool to be there. We're back in. I get all that, but we know that our bullpen's not strong enough or deep enough for anything crazy like that. So this isn't our year, but it is just it's fun to see all the names and we're young and they make it fun and the sad thing is even after that statement, if we added some pitching to this team right now, we may be one of the best teams in baseball.
But let me ask you a question though: why are the playoffs not something to strive for? We sat through
because they're not to that point in the rebuild yet.
Hold on, let me finish my thought though. We sat through 15 years of mediocrity and subpar play with shitty 4A baseball teams that were posing as major leaguers. We had every washed up, 1990s, early 2000s power hitter in the mid to late 2000s. And then they're trotting out a decent team for 3 years. They blow it up. And here we are again on the cusp of greatness, and you're saying we're not playing for the playoffs. That's the whole objective, is to play for the playoffs.
When we're ready to head that way, yeah. We're not a contender yet.
Our rotation.
Matt, if we would have, then why would I feel like we'll know when we're at that point in the rebuild, and I hope it's next year when you start seeing them. And I don't ever think the Orioles are going to go crazy because I just don't think that's ever going to happen. They're a lower market team; they can't afford it. But you're going to see them.
They can afford it. They can. I don't want to hear that. They can afford it.
Nah,
that's the money they can afford it. I don't care what anybody says.
Hey, you forget they got to share that. They don't get all that no more.
It's still a revenue stream, my man. I'm tired of that excuse that we're not a big market team. Okay, we're a smaller city. I get it, but at the same time, we don't need our payroll to be $300 million. But if you think for 1 second that we can't afford to go and get a starting frontline pitcher for 25 or 30 a year,
I was more or less saying like a Manny $400 million crazy shit like that.
I'm not. I am not expecting
that's
that.
What I'm talking about.
But the thing is,
when you start seeing them dropping $40 million on a guy, $30 million, $20, that's when we're like, all right, it's time to shoot for the playoffs and win.
The Twins just traded for Pablo Lopez over the offseason.
Okay.
And they gave him 4 years and $72 million. That is more than doable for us. Now, if we are in it in July and we are contending for a wild card, we're pushing for the AL East, I'll take a couple of these so-called prospects we got and ship them to Milwaukee to bring Corbin Burns to Baltimore. Give us a front end of the rotation bulldog that is going to lead this rotation. You have DL Hall in the minors. You got Grayson up right now. Kyle Gibson's an innings eater. Wells is pitching well, and if you can get Kramer fixed, you have a solid rotation. Yeah. And then you got Dylan Tate and Michael Givens coming back for the bullpen that are going to solidify that. Bruce Zimmerman's
because right now the bullpen is sketchy. That's the weakest point of the team.
But the thing is, you have a long reliever down in AAA that's starting, Bruce Zimmerman. He can come in here, be a long reliever, or be in the bullpen, or however you want to see fit. There's fixes in house, and then here's the thing: we're looking at our farm system, and it's a collective assessment by most analysts that we are the top farm system in the entire league.
Yeah.
So we got to sell some of these people off. If you go to
I don't like it.
Milwaukee, if you go to Milwaukee,
Nah, I'm sorry.
anybody but Jackson Holiday in the minors should be available.
Mm.
Anybody but Jackson Holiday should be available. So if they want
You let
Heston or they
DL Hall go somewhere?
not Hall's going to be in the majors. He's working his kings out right now. I don't even consider him.
Child, please.
He had one bad outing. He's going to be in. He'll be up here by next month.
I agree. I didn't say he would.
He'll be
I'm
up
just
here by next
saying.
month.
You said everybody but Holiday.
I'm talking about Kauser, Westberg, Kerstedt,
What about Stowers?
Stowers, McKenna. It doesn't matter. I would package something around Westberg and either Kauser or Kerstedt, whoever you don't see a higher ceiling for, and go to Milwaukee and ask for Corbin Burns. If they want Santander or they want Hayes, okay. There's going to be collateral damage somewhere.
I like Santander.
So do I, but I'm talking about we need that bona fide front end of the rotation starting pitcher. We haven't had that arguably since Bedard was here and Mike Mussina before that.
Man, Moose was something else. You're too young to remember Moose.
I'm not too young to remember Moose. God damn
Moose and Scott Erickson, man. See, everybody forgets about Scott Erickson.
Scott Erickson and Jimmy Keys. I remember him.
Dude came out with the pants just a little bit short at the bottom with the high spikes, looking cool as shit. I started doing that, man. I always thought he looked cool as shit, Scott Erickson.
I remember Scott Erickson.
People forgot about that, man. That was a hell of a
Ben McDonald.
Ben McDonald. That was a hell of a 1-2 punch back then because Messina got all the attention with
David
Scott.
Wells.
David Wells.
Yeah, I remember all that.
Holy stop it.
You look like David Wells a little bit if you had a full beard.
You look like Chris Holes, motherfucker.
I'm cool with that. He's a hell of a catcher.
He is.
But I think that if you package some of these prospects, we have a lot of outfielders and we have a few infielders down in the minors that probably aren't going to crack this team.
Yeah.
You can't have 35 outfielders on one team. So if Stowers if they want Major League ready,
I don't mind trading Stowers. I like Stowers, but I don't know how much you're going to get for him.
If it means Corbin Burns, I don't care about Stowers. I don't care about McKenna. I don't care about. You just got to figure out who Westberg's got to go because Westberg isn't going to crack the infield.
Yeah,
Gunner's the third baseman in the future. Holiday's either going to be your future shortstop or your future second baseman. And then if Mateo pans out to be a part of this next phase, you got Mateo. So, and if Ryan Castle can get his shit together, he's your first baseman in the future. So Westberg's not cracking any of that, and neither is Colby Mayo or Connor Norby or anybody like that. You've got prospects that you can package, and then you got the draft pick from this past draft. The first two draft picks, they're outfielders too.
Yeah.
And they're farther away from the majors. They're like looking at 2026 or beyond.
Yeah, they're ways out.
So you got to figure out: do you want Kerstedt more, or do you want Kauser more? And then whichever one you don't want, you put them with Westberg, and then you go and get Corbin Burns.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be nice to have a pitcher like that. We haven't had a pitcher like that in a long time.
It's been 15 years, essentially.
Yeah.
That's when we traded for Bedard. It was back in, 2003, 2004 that we got, Bedard was our starter.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking logically that you've got to make a move. If you're in contention, you've got to do stuff that's going to benefit you next year and the rest of this year.
I mean they were in contention last year too, all the way to the end. They never really made any moves.
But the thing is, that was with a bunch of people that Elias, just lumped together through the waiver wire, through Rule 5 draft and all that. That's what he did. And then Adley came up in May. Gunner came up in August. So, there's a lot of variables to that. These guys are here. Why delay the inevitable? The rebuild is essentially over. It's time to win.
Well, Mike took back his comment of us. Let's all
it
from here.
doesn't
So
matter.
obviously he
I'm
don't
not
think it's
talking
over.
about Mike Elias. Elias has
What
done
do
a
you
great
mean?
job.
He's the boss.
He's done a great job of rebuilding this team. But now it is time to get these guys at the major league level. If not, you flip them for proven guys.
But then who do you replace them with in the minors?
If you
Because he
trust,
wants to keep the minors set.
Elias, he's going to keep on doing his thing with the draft. And now we're big players in the international market. We got a headquarters down in the Dominican now.
They're building it.
Right. So now we are in a ton of different markets to where this is a feasible thing. Now when we draft these kids that are in college or coming out of high school, instead of them saying, "Oh, well, I want you to pay me over my slot money," if we're a good baseball team and they know that they can be a part of a great organization, when they see Adley and Gunner and G-Rod and Hall, and they see Kerstad or whoever it is, when they see these players that are producing and they're going to the playoffs and they're in contention for a title down the line, they're going to sign. So it's going to take care of itself. That's how you replenish it. Elias is building long term.
Yeah.
So, if you got to get rid of a couple guys in the here and now, you got to do it.
We'll see.
I'm hoping that's the case because, Josh, we've been fortunate enough to see 2 Super Bowls in our lifetime. Some football fans die never seeing their team win a Super Bowl. We've seen 2.
Yeah.
I want to see an Orioles World Series before I die.
Oh, I'd love to. I know.
We weren't here yet, and I firmly believe that Elias knows what he's doing. I'm not doubting Elias's ability. I know he wants to keep the farm system strong, but the thing is, he's doing his job on the international market. He's doing his job in the draft. He's developing good players, but the thing is, you can't keep them all.
No, you can't. I want to believe what you're saying. I just can't. And we got to move on from this. But that would hurt to get rid of all them guys, man. I can't do that, man. I can't do it, bud.
We got some comments, buddy. Brendan Smith.
You said Bruddy.
I'm sorry, buddy. Brendan Smith said that they fail 70% of the time and they're in the Hall of Fame. That's true. 300 hitters are in the Hall of Fame.
Sure.
And so are 276 hitters, but I digress. But you didn't catch that?
Oh, yeah, I did. Now I did. No, I didn't when you first said it.
Okay.
Yeah, let's hold on from the comments for 1 second. Let everyone know out there.
No.
This is a Baltimorean, folks. Born and raised Baltimore City, who thinks Cal Ripken is overrated. So
I did not say overrated. I never said overrated.
I figured out why. It's just like the Jason Lockenford stuff. We always wondered. So this is a Jason Lockenford type situation, how you're acting towards Cal. So you obviously had some kind of bad experience as a child. Maybe he didn't sign your ball.
How?
Maybe he kicked your dog. I don't know. Maybe something. He wouldn't sign something for you at the game. You got some secret story about Cal that ruined, your because what you're saying is ludicrous and nonsense. It's not even a feasible argument for debate. It's not even worth the air in my lungs. It is a horrible debate.
I've never said.
And you're from Baltimore. If you're from Pittsburgh or Buffalo, I'd be like, whatever. Tampa, whatever. I expect you to say, ludicrous things. But
I've never once said he was overrated in my life. I've never once said that. You can't put words in my mouth. You started an argument earlier on a text message, and you could not help that I backed it up with facts. And you started it. Not me.
I don't know about facts. I don't know what the facts were.
Okay. After 83, nothing.
So hold on. I like what you're saying about that. That's hilarious. Because what the fuck? Angelo's tore the team apart. Baseball ain't the NBA where one player can win the whole thing. The fuck was Cal supposed to do?
Was he not on the '96 team where our leadoff hitter hit 51 home runs?
Baseballs were designed to fly out, and then they.
You got an answer for everything. You're full of shit.
That's the truth.
Stop it. Just stop.
It's the truth.
You started this bullshit.
No, you said Cal was overrated.
I did not. I will post the screenshots as proof. I said nothing.
I can go back. You said it multiple times over the years.
I said he was the greatest defensive shortstop that ever played the game. I admitted that.
But you blame him for the 15 years of shitty baseball.
I'm just saying, what did he do to separate?
He won the ultimate fucking prize. He won a fucking championship.
He was a year and a half in.
Well, I just know that he put up numbers. I mean, but he couldn't win the game.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, well, it's baseball. Well, it ain't like LeBron James comes to your team, now you're a contender. I mean, baseball, you got to have a collective. He only counts for, a running game or so.
I don't have anything personal against the guy.
Oh, yeah, he definitely didn't sign your ball cap.
This is such bullshit. You know it. You cannot stand being wrong.
It's Jason Lockenfora. It's Jason Lockenfora.
You can't stand being wrong. You're wrong.
You're being Lockenfora. I'm not wrong. He's Calvert.
You're okay. You're
one of the greatest baseball players. One of the greatest baseball players. You want to talk about an overrated player? Derek Jeter is the most overrated player I've ever seen.
How many World Series does he have?
He was on some good teams. Yeah.
All right. How many does he have?
Matt, there's guys on Super Bowl teams on the practice squad.
Answer my question.
I don't know. 4.
Oh, okay. And he won all of them in the Calverton era of baseball.
Yeah. He was on Yankees team with a $300 million payroll. Cal was on an Orioles team with a $50 million payroll.
I digress, sir. Let's get to the comments.
All right. Yeah, we got to go to bed soon.
Brendan Smith said we could trade for a big arm or two if we're still in it. I agree. He mentioned
I'd like that too. I just don't think that's the route they're going to take. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I pray to God I'm wrong.
He mentioned that it still pisses him off that Nelson Cruz walked and the guy is still hitting 8-9 years later.
I know.
That irritates the shit out of me. Yes.
Everybody. I think all Oriole fans.
Let's see. Carlos Gray, my buddy from work, Carlos. Next offseason, what's the chances the Orioles spend for a top-tier free agent? I don't think they're going to spend crazy amount of money.
No.
Now, if I'm playing fantasy owner, I'm throwing $400 million at Shohei Ohtani. But that's
that ain't never going to happen.
Never going to happen.
No.
I think we make a splash and add somebody of substance, but I don't think it's going to be anybody that's going to set the world on fire with the bank account.
And it also didn't help that Peter Angelo's every time he did do a mega deal, he got fucked. I think the only one that worked out, was Cal and Adam Jones worked out. And Adam wasn't that crazy. It was like $86 million or something, which was a lot for the Orioles to pay out.
He paid Brian Roberts and he fizzled.
Yeah, but I'm talking like Chris Davis, Albert Bell was stung really bad.
Chris Davis.
There's been a few. Old has-been pitchers he's paid.
Ubaldo.
Yeah.
So Carlos also says, I want to hear your response because I'm going to shut up after I read this, okay? Personal opinion, I think Cal Ripken was on the juice. How else do you not take a day off for all those years?
Oh, bullshit. Come on, Brendan.
It wasn't Brendan. That was Carlos.
Oh, come on, Carlos. Is that the guy that likes the Giants?
No, that's my buddy Carl.
Carl. All right. Name sound familiar.
Carlos is our resident Raiders fan.
Well, dude, come on. Don't take it from the man. The dude ain't got a muscle in his body. Taking their damn steroids. Everybody's always got something bad to say. He took steroids. He hit his wife. Well,
Fucking
if
didn't.
my wife had sex with
You
Kevin
said he hit his
Costner,
wife.
if my
Who
wife had
said
sex with
that?
Kevin Costner, I'd hit him. I'd hit her too. Shit,
So you're admitting that there's precedence to that story.
maybe. Think about it.
Oh,
She
you
with
were.
Kevin Costner. Shit, I wouldn't even watch Yellowstone no more. Watch it and get mad thinking about it. That motherfucker.
So you agree that the streak shouldn't be the streak. If you believe
No,
there's precedence to that, that you believe that the streak should have ended on that night.
no, I don't.
So,
I don't. I don't believe he was arrested. I believe it was legit power failure.
oh my gosh, no, it wasn't. It was
Yeah, it
not.
was. There was a glitch in the system, dude.
What glitch? It's a multi-million-dollar stadium
Dude, the
with
Ravens.
no
Wait,
power
it's
grid. With
the Ravens. Lights went out in the fucking Super Bowl.
every player that we have interviewed from that Super Bowl game has said that it was
Rigged.
a rigged situation. That is an arena down in New Orleans that just had a 25-minute Beyonce concert with pyro and all the flashing lights, and then the power goes out after Jacoby's kick return. So you're going to tell me there's not something wrong with their star player, and all of a sudden there's a power failure? Josh, that stadium was like 4 years old when they did that.
No,
Maybe
shit
5
happens,
years
man.
old. There's no
Shit
way.
happens.
It's on. They got backup generators for days in that place. You cannot tell me they couldn't operate on partial power. There's no way in the world. I don't believe that for a second. So
Matt,
I'm
then
gonna.
back then, them big ass halogen lights, man, they call it short circuits. It ain't like the LED flashy ones now, man. Them things were like,
You're so full of shit.
I'm not.
You
I'm,
are.
I'm not.
Oh,
I'm just saying, if he did slap her, I'd understand.
the amount the your need for the slap and tickle for Cal Ripken Jr. is ridiculous.
And then Matt's friends with the man's son. Little does his son know, Matt fucking hates his
It has
dad.
nothing to do with that. I have not said a bad thing about that man.
He said he's overrated, bum.
Uh,
Blame the
not
15-year curse on him.
Please show me where I said that.
You blamed live on the air here that the 15-year curse was his fault.
I did not say that. I said you brought up Derek Jeter.
What did he do during that time? He just went to All-Star game after All-Star game after All-Star game.
Individual accolades.
It's baseball, dude. There was no one else. Who else did he have? Brian Roberts?
Oh my God.
He had Brian Roberts.
You're killing me, man.
He had Brian Roberts. Fucking Jason Gibbons playing right fields with smoking the ball. Then the steroid shit comes out. And the motherfucker got skinny and started sucking. Jeff Coline at first. Then we had Will Clark at first, man. All fucking guys way past their prime. Will Clark was one of my favorite players too, so I was kind of happy.
After Palmero, after
Remember
Griffey
when
and Palmero.
Remember when we fucking signed Jim Thome?
Jim Thome, Vlad Guerrero Jr. Senior.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Brendan mentioned Sammy Sosa.
Sammy Sosa. Oh my God! If you haven't seen Sammy Sosa lately, I highly mention people out there. Google Sammy Sosa. You're going to be shocked. So I ain't gonna ruin the surprise. But Google recent pictures of Sammy Sosa.
We had Tim
You ain't gonna
Raines
recognize
Sr.
him.
and Tim Raines Jr. at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Carlos said that Cal, Tiger, and Lance were all doing the same thing.
Bullshit.
You cannot tell me that there's. You fully believe in your head that there was a power outage.
I do. Them big halogen lights
with
suck up a
a
lot of power.
stadium under 10 years old.
It ain't about the stadium. It's about them big halogen lights. They
That's
can
connected
short
to the
circuit shit
stadium.
like that. Yeah.
I know you don't want to believe it, and I'm sorry. I know you don't want to believe it. I'm sorry.
I'm watching an interview with Adley. He is a good-looking young man.
We're not going to get on your man crush for Adley. We're moving on.
Yeah, let's talk about Lamar and get out of here. Some people got work and don't get off too.
I've been off one day this month, and you give me shit.
I was like, hey, what time you getting off, Matt? Oh, I've been home since 2:00.
I know.
Like,
I said I got
wow,
off at 2 o'clock. I was home by 3.
government workers.
I'm sorry I don't sit behind a desk all day and watch TV.
Yeah, you're right about that. I can't argue that.
Yeah, exactly, motherfucker. But anyway, Lamar
So
Jackson.
Lamar, we got excited. Rumors they're looming in on a deal. He's posting with Odell, and they're doing this and all this. And now rumors are coming that he turned it down again because he wants fucking back pay. And I've been texting you that for days. Like he's probably wants money back from lost pay because he wants to be at a certain number. He's made like $30 million in his career. Josh Allen's made out like 80 or some crazy shit. And come on, man.
Hey,
This
I
shit
want
is
back pay.
crazy.
I want back pay for my job. I'm 6 raises behind.
Dude, it is the Ravens' fault you didn't sign. Like, yeah, the shame on them, but it's also shame on you because you could have held out. You could have done everything to speed it up. Like, I would have rather you held out than be going through this. I'd have rather you held out after Josh Allen signed because we would have figured it out.
I agree with you.
But he's a fool. If that 3 years for 133 guaranteed is legit, he'd be a fucking moron not to sign that. Why not get $133 million in your bank account and then get another bite at apple at 29? If you're as good as you think you are, you should be going for a big ass bite at the apple at 29.
I don't know. I want this to. Hopefully, this ends. The draft is next weekend. It starts next Thursday night. I'm ready for.
If you're Eric DaCosta and it's draft night and you realize you're still nowhere near getting this kid in here, getting Lamar to sign this deal, do you start getting aggressive and maybe say, I know we need some corners, but let's go draft our next guy?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would too. Yeah, absolutely.
The thing
Lamar
is,
has no leverage, dude. He looks foolish right now. I mean, Hurst's deal proves what he should get. It's a fucking system. That's how the market works. Who does the fuck does he think he is to be? What's he think he's better than the market? Like obviously he
yes,
does.
that's what
He
he
thinks the
thinks.
market don't the market dictates everything in life in the NFL. Like that's how it goes, man. If the market
I'm aware of
dictates it,
that.
it goes stats, success, and what this guy got, now what you get, and it's a chain, and they're all tied together.
I mean,
I don't
Jalen
understand
Hurts.
what he wants. Like what
Jalen
the
Hurts got 179.5 million guaranteed. He got 100 at signing,
yeah
and he lost the Super Bowl, but he got him
yeah
there, and
yeah.
he wins playoff games.
And look, if a call don't get called away, he played well enough to be the MVP. He honestly was the MVP. I know Patrick won the game, but honestly, Hurts was the best player on the field that game. He just happened to
Absolutely,
lose.
he balled out the whole Super Bowl. He put
Yeah.
the team on his back.
He did
And
everything you can do to get a ring on his finger. It just didn't bounce his way.
I agree with you. I don't
And
disagree
Lamar
with you.
Jackson, you can blame it on not having star receivers. You can blame it on whatever to have Greg Roman. Blame it on whatever you want. And Lamar cult members, and I used to be one. I happened to break out from that cult. Uh, say whatever you want. He ain't sniffed a fucking Super Bowl. He ain't come close to a fucking Super Bowl. 2019 was his time to go, and he choked from start to finish. The Ravens were by far the best team in the NFL that year, by far. The closest, the Chiefs, but we were by far, I believe, the best team in the league. He had everything going his way, home field advantage. He should have been well rested. We were pulling him out in the third quarter the whole fucking year because we blew everybody out. Like that was your chance to get it.
He was
And
yanked
you
out of
and
the
you
fourth
and
quarter in 5 of those games and sat week 17.
yeah, yeah. And then the next year you go choke in Buffalo. Great quarterbacks win those games. Okay, you're jamming the middle. I'm beating you outside. Say what you want. Maybe Roman can't call good plays. It's always excuses. It's always everything. And I know Roman sucked, but a great quarterback figures out a way. A great quarterback finds an open man. Great
Here
quarterback thinks.
here's the thing.
I
Regardless
hit
of
my head. I got a concussion.
I've had a concussion. I've had plenty of them. They're nothing to play around with. But here's the thing.
Your belly hurts. You're a little dizzy. It passes.
If Lamar Jackson is indeed our quarterback next year,
Ain't happening. He ain't
I,
signing it.
I hypothetically speaking, Lamar Jackson is the Ravens quarterback in 2023.
It's a big hypothetical.
It's a big hypothetical. Whether he plays on an extension or the tag or some variation of both. If he does the same shit next year or this coming year that he has done in 22 and 21 with a new offense, with OBJ, Aguilar, Bateman, Duvernay as his top 4 wide receivers, Mark Andrews and Likely and Kohler are coming back. The running backs are all coming back. You got to replace one player on the offensive line. If this happens again and we're sitting here talking about the same shit next March, we know it's Lamar at that point.
Hmm?
And there's no excuse.
No, it's not. This is like silly at this point. It's like this. Like, is something wrong with him? The Ravens, like, I'd love to be a fly on that wall. They got to be like, what the fuck can we do to get this motherfucker to sign without taking every penny we have for the next 5 years? Like, what can we do? Like, the team's built around him. I'm sure everything is built around him. Like, I mean, I feel like the Ravens look like the better, man in this situation.
They're not by much.
Yeah, I disagree with you. I disagree. I think maybe the Ravens aren't stupid. Maybe they were talking to Lamar back at their outside. Maybe he was being unreasonable then as well. You don't know.
It's totally
You don't know the whole
possible.
story. They may have been trying. When have the Ravens ever had an issue signing people, Matt? We've never seen this. Roquan comes in, he's here for fucking 4 or 5 games and signs without an agent $100 million deal. Like, Marlon Humphrey signed. I mean, Ronnie Stanley took some years, but it was quiet. There was no bad blood, and they got it done. Like, it's never been an issue before. Like, Ed Reed would be chirpy sometimes, and Ray had that one time after his rookie deal, where he was getting chirpy. Like saying, "Oh, I wish I always wanted to wear that star on my helmet." Like, had everybody in a uproar.
That wasn't after his rookie deal. That was after his
after the second extent. That was the second. Yeah.
And then he went out on the open market, and nobody was going to give him what he wanted, so he came back.
Yes, and we gave him what he wanted, close to what he wanted.
The only thing the Ravens look smart about is they let Lamar essentially be a free agent, and nobody wanted to offer him the money. I know the two first rounders.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what scares me. I'm afraid this new ownership coming in with the Washington Commanders. They're going to come in. Dan Snyder has a stink about him, and that organization is stunk, and he's just a nasty fuck. And what are they going to want to do? They're going to want to eradicate Dan Snyder's scent. They're going to want to push him as far back as possible. I know Ron Rivera is a good coach, and he has a lot of power there, man. He's head of football operations. He's the man. Are they going to keep him? Yeah, I think they need to get the fans back. They just spent all this money on this team, this major investment. And why not say, hey, let's go pay Lamar and fill the fucking seats and show people we're different?
I worry more about Indy than anybody else.
No, not me. I think he ain't paying him nowhere near what he wants. He's admitted he don't. He said publicly he ain't for the guaranteed shit.
I'll get worried on draft night if the Colts don't take a quarterback at 4.
I'm not worried. We trade him, dude. They got to play. I trust him. I know Eric has had some bad drafts, but he's had some really good. I trust in Eric. I really do. I really do.
I hope so, man. But
and I'd be willing to bet. I know we're about to shut it down, but I'd be willing to bet my life we trade out of the first round.
I would bet that too. We're gonna sit up on Thursday night, and we're going to get pissed off that we stay up till 11:30, and the Ravens are going to trade out.
The Ravens are on the clock. There's been a trade,
and we trade back to like 47 or some bullshit.
I hate that. Oh God, there's been so many nights where that happened.
Yep.
Uh.
But that'll do it for the show tonight, guys. Thank you for commenting and tuning in. We are going to have Bruce Cunningham, voice of the Ravens.
He was the
Thursday.
guy back in the day when I wasn't that long ago, a few years ago. First down, Raven.
He will be on the show Thursday
He'll be
night,
with the
8 p.m.
heavyweights.
He'll be with the Charm City Heavyweights, and then next
And we're
Tuesday will
heavy
be
because we eat a lot of cheeseburgers. Whoa, hit my mic. We eat a lot of cheeseburgers, folks. A lot of meat.
Speak for yourself. Whoa, pause. But okay. Yeah, Mike Bordick joins us a week from tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask him about his goats. Dude loves goats.
All right. Before it gets weird, sign us off.
All right, we're gonna shut it down. We're definitely gonna ask Mike about his goats. He talks about on the radio all the time. And the draft's coming up. And I got a feeling this Lamar shit's almost over. Matt, shut it down. Man cave. Actually, get out of my man cave.